All right. Good morning, everyone. We're going to talk today about getting prospects to trust you. I can tell you that I have written 10 or 12 different blog articles, including articles for R&R Magazine and C&R Magazine and LinkedIn and so forth about the whole concept of trust. And we've done several previous videos and even a couple webinars going back like 4 or 5 years about the whole issue of trust. And I just found myself in the last couple weeks, maybe the last month, talking with some of our clients, the clients that we coach, talking about the whole idea of trust and how to get there and why you want to get there. So that's what we're going to do again today. We pretty much have a new group of people. I know that many of the folks that would normally sign on are they're busy, they're slammed, and so that's partly why we're recording this, so we can send the YouTube link out to everyone. So let me see if I can advance this. So getting clients to trust you, there is really a very specific strategy that we have learned works really well. We've implemented that strategy within our organization, and I've helped many, many marketers implement the strategy for themselves and their organization. Right out of the gate, according to the dictionary, reliance on somebody's character, strength, and abilities or truth is really about how you get to the point of trust. It's really a sense of a firm belief that helps you build a strong and confident connection. Building trust is really your key to reliable partnerships. It's about the people trusting you. Why did you start trusting them? You already trust people within your circle of influence. You trust your wife, your husband, you trust your business associates, you trust other people that you talk with and meet with or interact with periodically. Why do you trust them? What have they done to make you feel comfortable with them? It happens to be one of the most important aspects of our entire human relationships. And building trust is one of the most essential factors in having good client relationships. For those of you that implement it or have implemented it, it drives a massive ROI. It truly gives you a real legitimate return on your investment of effort, your investment of time. And I've said this in 1,000 ways, without trust, you don't get referrals. Simple as that. So I want to give you some ideas about ways that you can demonstrate your credibility, because your credibility is the basis of getting to the point where they trust you. First, you have to tell stories. And I don't mean the far-fetched stories that nobody believes or that you made up. I'm talking about the true stories, the real stories. I'm talking about client testimonials, Yelp reviews from a specific customer. Tell that case history of what led that customer to give you that great Yelp or Google review. You know, it kind of goes without saying, but I put it on here anyway. To be honest and transparent, some of us struggle with being transparent. Some of us have this philosophy that, well, I'm not going to tell them everything. You got to be completely transparent. It's really a necessity to have credibility. And you better know your target audience. You better know who you're marketing to. You better do your homework. You better do your research. In our marketing class, or our marketing classes that we hold 2 or 3, sometimes 4 times a year, we talk a lot about doing your research, doing your homework, understanding the client, the prospect, understanding their business. The cool thing about it is today with the internet, you can do stalking, if you want to call it that, on the internet, and you can find out a lot of information about the industry that the client or prospect is in. You can learn about their specific business. You can learn with LinkedIn, for example, or Facebook, you can learn about the client themselves, the prospect themselves. Don't be afraid to ask for, and share positive reviews. You know, we're all going to get some bad ones. We can't go through life getting perfect 5-star reviews on every single job. But we can get some positive reviews, some good ones, some 4s and 5s. And I would certainly turn those into case histories and share them. Share video testimonials. We just did a class in Orlando, I don't know, maybe less than a month ago. And I think about 10 of the attendees, after the class, at the end of the last day, one by one, they came to us to do a video testimonial. And we recorded those, and they're on our website. Video testimonials are a huge way to add credibility, because they're not just you saying it. When you say it, it may or may not be accurate. But when they say it for you and about you, it's probably fairly accurate and correct. You've got to build a reputation. And you've got to build it with your clients, certainly, but you've got to build it with the public in general. You've got to be contactable. They've got to be able to get a hold of you easily. Several of the marketers that I work with on Mondays, I had to cancel the Monday Zoom call because obviously it was a holiday. And so I can't remember if it was on Saturday or Sunday, I sent out emails to all of them, a half a dozen, that said, hey, Monday's a holiday. What preference do you want? What day do you want to meet, and what day and time do you want to meet later this week? Oddly enough, they all have a company email address. They all have a company cell phone, and yet only one of them was reachable. Only one of them responded to me, returning the email with some comments. All the rest of them responded this morning or will respond today because we have several clients in California. So, you know, they don't even start their day until it's about 11 o'clock here, our time. And then you've got to build your social proof. You've got to do blogs. You've got to do social media. You've got to publish information. You can even write articles and send them to R&R Magazine or CNR Magazine or Clean Facts. And I certainly encourage you to do public speaking. And yeah, I know some of you are like, ugh, I'm not really comfortable with public speaking. It's ironically one of the greatest fears that many have. But it is a necessity. We do public speaking one-on-one and one-on-two and one-on-three. So get comfortable with doing public speaking at the chamber events and then beyond that. What you gain by being a trusted advisor or a maven. Let's talk about what you actually gain. We want you to become the go-to marketer. That's critical. You have to become a go-to marketer. They want to go to you. You become the magnet. They tend to reach out for your advice. They accept and act on your recommendations. And don't be too quick to give them your recommendations because it's probably slanted. Your recommendation is going to be, hey, Mr. Plummer, refer me. It'll be good for you and your company and for your pocketbook because we'll pay you a little referral fee. Don't give those recommendations until you're absolutely sure that they're the right client. Be a magnet. Let them be drawn to you. If you think about it, I don't care whether you're watching TV, listening to the radio, reading a magazine, you're going to get inundated with commercials. And that's what you're doing. They're selling you with commercials. Don't do that to them. Treat them like you want to be treated. I was talking Saturday or Sunday, I might have been maybe even yesterday on when my grandson, the 9-year-old was here and also the 2-year-old. The 2-year-old wanted something and the 9-year-old just flat out wouldn't give it to him. And so I said to him, you've heard the phrase, his name is Nemo or his nickname is Nemo. Nemo, do unto others. And he kind of looked at me since he attends a Christian school. And it's like, oh, suddenly he knew what I was talking about. And so he shared what he was playing with the little 2-year-old. Well, you know, 2-year-olds' attention spans aren't long. Then I told the older one, I said, he'll play with it for a minute or two and then he'll forget all about it. But the key point is do unto others. Treat them the way you want to be treated. You don't want a commercial. You don't want somebody trying to sell you or twist your arm or try to convince you. The better you are at respecting them, their situation, their preferences, what their company demands of them, the more likely they are going to appreciate you. And refer other associates to you. You know, if you did a good job for one insurance agency or one plumber in an organization, encourage them to provide you with other names, other people, inside and outside their organization. They know people, not just people within their company. They know people outside the company. Ask them who they know that would benefit the same way your current client benefits. And if you have established that trust, if you've established that go-to trusted Maven article style relationship, you're going to get referrals. It just goes hand in hand. I've been doing this now for, geez, I know you can probably tell by my video on the screen here, but you know, I'm an old guy. I've been doing it for 25 years. And over the last 5 years, it is absolutely shocking how we're in a world of untrusted connections. We don't trust anybody. We question the commercials. We question everything and everybody. And the plumbers, the insurance agents, the property managers, none of them out of the gate trust you. They're more likely to forgive your mistakes, and be sure you are going to make mistakes. They're going to warn you of danger signs, of issues that come up. I recently had a marketer that was told by the insurance agent that corporate is trying to do everything they can to dissuade or discourage them from referring a restoration contractor. But the relationship was strong enough that the insurance agent said, but you don't have to worry because they're not going to do anything to me. We're still going to refer you. I want you to take care of my policyholders. Be comfortable with you is what they're going to do. They're going to be comfortable. They're going to be like, oh yeah, when this person walks in to visit, I'm good with them. That's one of the things that trust and a better relationship bring to you. They're more likely to trust your instincts. They're more likely to trust your judgment. You know, we talk about intuition, and you know, it's always said that it's women having a far better intuition than men, and you know, that's more or less accurate. It is kind of a broad sweeping statement, but in general it's accurate. So part of the instinct that I hope you will have is to simply walk away if it's not a good fit. There are so many good fits out there. There are so many, you've heard the saying, so many fish in the barrel. Just shoot the ones that you want, and don't chase and don't go after the others. None of this, absolutely none of this, and what I'm referring to by none of this is referrals. They're not going to happen unless you demonstrate credibility and believability to the prospect. It's just as simple as that. Building relationships with clients takes time. Usually why there's an engagement or a dating period of time before you go to the next level of engagement or even marriage, because that's what this is really. There aren't any shortcuts to that. No, there's really no such thing as meeting that person one afternoon and then proposing marriage that night. in never having met them before. You see it all the time. It's kind of a joke in a movie. Somebody will do that. Everybody thinks, oh my gosh, they're the one. Oh my gosh, they're the one. And then you find out that they're an axe murderer or worse, whatever worse is. Okay. Building credibility can happen in many, many different forms. The background picture here is somebody holding a magnet. Remember that in that initial visit, or the subsequent first or second or third or fourth visits, you have very little credibility when you meet. The ultimate goal is to become the magnet where they're drawn to you. The first couple meetings, that's probably not going to happen. It usually takes, and that's why we tell owners and reassure some marketers, especially we've got a couple new marketers that we're working with right now that say, hey, I've been on the job for 2 months and I haven't got a referral yet. Well, you haven't got a referral because you haven't built credibility, believability, and ultimately a trusted relationship. And until you do that, you're not going to get a referral. And on top of that, it usually takes up to 3 or more months before that's going to happen. I had one marketer, the boss kept saying to me, oh my God, what's going on? What's not working? She's been on the job 6 months and now she's starting to get a lead or two. That's just not enough. And you know what? She went on to be $1.5 million producer each year. And right now we work with a marketer that's been doing this for many years. She's a $2 million producer consistently year after year, but it took her a long time, months, to build that credibility. When we talk about your business, and I'm referring to you and yourself, when you talk about, and I've got a couple people from Tri-State Restorations on here, when you spend your time talking about Tri-State Restorations and about yourself, it's never, ever going to work. You even lose more credibility. Whatever you gained or whatever you were trying to gain, it goes down the tubes when you're talking about and making it about you and your company. It has to be about them. It has to be about their industry. It has to be about their business. That's the only way you can build the initial foundation of credibility. Even, and I hesitate to say this, sometimes talking about, and I guess the word would be name dropping. Don't name drop unless you're 100% sure that you are their trusted advisor also. But move back and think about someone that's your trusted advisor. What did they do to win your trust? What did they say? What actions did they take to build your trust? If you can think about somebody within your life, within your world, that you trust, and you trust them a lot, well, that's, how did you get there? How did you get to the point of trusting them? What did they do? What did they say? And even a bigger question is, did they make it all about themselves, or did they make it almost exclusively about you? That's what makes them a trusted advisor. Your own trusted advisors, do they seem to understand you? You watched enough TV shows and you've heard the lines that say, well, she gets me. She understands me. He's the most understanding, sweet, and kind person I know. Well, that's part of the beginnings for being a trusted advisor. Being consistent. Showing up 1 month and then not showing up for 3 months or more, that's not consistent. Okay, if they're an A or a B prospect, you better have them on your route and you better show up every single month. Your trusted advisors don't force their opinions on you, right? We all have opinions. I can give opinions to my grandson, but he doesn't want to hear them. He wants to hear suggestions and things that help the credibility. Do they help you think things through? Do they talk about your headache, your issue, your problem, your challenge? And do they try to separate logic from emotions? It's been said by me and many, many others way before me that people make decisions based on emotion. And after they've made the decision, then they go through the mental process in their head of the logical reason why they made that emotional decision. Kind of like a justification situation. They might have judgments, they might have very strong feelings or opinions about your situation, but they don't make judgments about you. They don't judge you. It's really hard for us to not judge. This whole world judges before they understand the truth. And you've got to act like real people. You can't just act in the sense of you can't be acting like an actor on a stage. It's got to be real. It's got to be from the heart. Do your own trusted advisors, and you all have them. Husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, business associate, do they give you reasonings, logical things that make sense, but they understand that you're not always making logical decisions, so they add in emotion into the situation. Very, very good trusted advisors from all walks give us options to consider. I recently read a book about you can give too many options. Too many options can lead someone not to say, oh my gosh, great, I've got all these decisions or options to consider, when in reality, sometimes too many options brings them to the point of indecision. They can't make a decision. It's kind of like analysis by paralysis. You've heard the saying. There's just too many options to consider. But you know what? One or two additional options other than the primary one is great. A total of 3 choices is great. 2 is even better. Do your own trusted advisors make you feel comfortable? Do you enjoy them visiting with you? Do you enjoy going to dinner with them? Do they remember what you told them? This is a sign of a good relationship when you go back to a plumber or insurance agent and they remember almost word for word sometimes exactly what you told them previously. It makes you feel darn good. I work with, as you can imagine, many different clients on a weekly basis, and a couple of them on a twice a month basis. And what's really cool for me is when one of my clients, one of the marketers that I work with will say, will use the exact phrase or quote that I gave them weeks or months ago. Makes me feel good. They were listening, they were paying attention. So when your client does that, when they are paying attention and they remember what you tell them, that's really a good start to building that relationship. And you better have a sense of humor. This is not all business. I don't mean being a stand-up comedian. I don't mean making everything a joke, everything humor. That's not what I mean. But when you're telling them sometimes something that otherwise might be slightly uncomfortable, say it in a light-hearted manner. Say it with a little more humor in your voice. It tends to diffuse the tension. If there is tension, and many times there is, especially initially, a little bit of humor, a little bit of levity goes a long ways to softening and lessening the tension. And are they smart in ways that we're not? Almost everybody that you're in contact with, that you are exposed to, that you're calling on, that you're meeting every month, almost always they know their business and their situation better than you. I'm going to say 99.9 times out of 100, they know those things better than you. So ask them, talk to them, inquire of them about how you can learn, how you can get good information. And oddly enough, there is reciprocity in that. And many people that you encourage them to talk with you will in turn ask you some key questions as well. So I'm going to give you some simple ways to be credible and believable. I hope I don't have to really focus on this, and based on who's on this Zoom today, I am very sure that I don't have to talk about excellent customer service. So I'm going to move on. I want you to publish customer reviews and testimonials, whether they're written, whether they're video, whether they're just recorded in audio. I want you to publish them. I want you to send links to the customers. I want them to know, or the clients, the prospects. Don't ever be in sales mode. You guys are not salespeople, and you don't want to be salespeople. I'm going to assume on here, and there's some risk in that, but I'm going to assume that none of you actually go to the referral or the referral customer, not the client, but the referral customer, and actually sell them, close the contract, sign the work authorization to do the work. Generally, marketers don't do that. And so partly why you don't do that, partly is because you can't wear the marketing hat and the sales hat at the same time. It's almost impossible. I have one client that I work with in Tennessee that has to do both because they're a very small organization. They only have, I think, maybe 5 total people in their company. And so this person has to do both. He does the selling, the signing of the work off when those opportunities come in, and then the rest of the time he's marketing. Don't be afraid to ask for feedback. And always ask them as you're talking about, maybe in this case, you're talking with a plumber about a referral fee and the referral program. Don't be afraid to ask them, does this make sense to you? Would this program work for you? If they say yes, chances are good they're going to move forward with you. If they say, I don't know if this is really going to work for us. My boss just absolutely hates referral programs, and I just don't want to jeopardize my job. So it's really great that you ask, is this going to work for you? Does this make sense to you? If they tell you no, for gosh sakes, close up, move out, go on to the next one. As I just said a few minutes ago, there are many fish in the barrel to shoot. Don't shoot the one that is not a good fit for you. Always be reachable, accessible to your potential clients. Some companies, some owners want the marketer to always tell their referral source to call the company when they have a lead. But I don't subscribe to that philosophy. If you have the relationship, maintain and build that relationship. If you're going to answer your phone at 3 a.m. by a potential client, answer your phone and then forward it through to the appropriate place. And then always prioritize your clients or customers or prospects. There are A prospects or A customers. These are the ones that have actually given you work, given you legitimate referral leads. You better make them number one. Number two is the B clients, those that haven't given you any work, but they're probably going to. You feel pretty confident that they probably will. And then the C clients or prospects, C stands for crap. They're not going to ever be a good fit. They're not going to refer you. You ought to put them on a 6 to 12 month rotation, at least from a visiting standpoint. Certainly send them an email every month so you've got that touch. But you've got to be reachable. You've got to prioritize. And when there's a problem, own it. Own the problem. Take ownership of the situation that arose. You can follow through with it, and you should. Be credible in your restoration marketing role. Show respect for the prospect. Make the relationship personal. Now, I'm not talking about making the relationship intimate. I'm not talking about making them best buddies. I'm not talking about having them come over every weekend for a cookout. I'm not talking about going on vacation with them. I had a marketer that had a relationship so much so that he went on a very cool vacation. His family went on vacation with their family, and it didn't ultimately work out. Don't make it personal in the sense that it's intimate. Don't make it personal in the sense that they're a very, very close friend, but you do have to make it personal. You have to have the relationship so that it's personal. If you have the relationship and it's just an arm's length standoff relationship, that's not very deep. So you have to make the relationship about them personally. You've got to be transparent. You can't make promises that you can't keep. If you make promises that you can't keep, the credibility goes down the tubes. You've got to ask them for feedback. Even if they've been giving you leads and referrals week after week or month after month. We've got one particular marketer that gets 3 to 4 plumber. They're a big plumbing company and they do a lot of repair type work. He gives them 3 to 4 actual jobs, actual leads that turn into jobs, 3 to 4 every week. He's been known, and there's been situations where he's given as many as 20 in 1 month. But I even then encourage him to ask for feedback. They might be giving you those leads because they like the $350 or $500 referral fee. In Miami, it's $1,000. Ask for those feedbacks. Ask for their opinions. Ask for what you could do better. Ask if there's one single thing that they could tell you that they don't particularly like. If you don't ask that and they don't tell you, you're never going to know. And if you never know, you can never be better. I highly encourage you to listen first. And that really means asking questions first. Let them talk. And ultimately, you respond. And not immediately. Listen first and respond later. And don't hesitate to show a little bit of vulnerability. Vulnerability sells. You have, if you are so overconfident, then you're so sure of yourself that you're just strutting around big shot, you're not showing vulnerability. And you need to show that because it makes you human. And too often we're really, when they're talking, we're not really listening. We're thinking about what we're going to say next. We're thinking about how we're going to tell them how our solution is the best solution. We're thinking about ways to say that. Don't do that. I've told marketers for a long time, when they're talking, listen 100% to what they're saying, excuse me, and then what they're not saying, the old read between the lines. Because sometimes reading between the lines and what they're not saying is even louder than what they are saying. Be credible in your restoration marketing role. Take the Maven article. You need to be a CREST member. And I'm talking a CREST member We're not talking about access to the crestlibrary.com, and because the Maven articles are not on there. Maven articles are on thecrestnetwork.com, and you've got to be a Crest elite member to have access to them. But you can create your own Maven articles. We call them Maven articles in the Maven library, and there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them on many different verticals, on many different plumbers, insurance agents, property managers, and so forth, churches. And they're already created for you. They're all downloadable. And so we make it easy for you. But you can also read and then create a one-page Maven article and take it in to a particular vertical, such as plumbers or insurance agents or property managers. I encourage you to talk about things within their industry. Hey, we care about things within our industry. We care about what the IICRC is doing. I'm a shareholder, or I'm a shareholder rep for the SCRT. As president of the SCRT, I'm a shareholder rep for the ICRC. And I care about that industry. I care about what's going on there. I'm on a Zoom call every month with the IICRC to learn what's going on there and have my input. I'm going out to Vegas in, this month in September to attend the annual shareholder meeting. I want to know, I care. Just like you should care about the industries that you're marketing to. You're marketing to plumbers or insurance agents or property managers or churches or nursing homes or hotels. You should be caring about those particular verticals, those industries. You should know about them. I encourage you to tell real business stories. I'm not talking fake ones. I'm talking those case histories, those examples of wonderful jobs, how you wonderfully rebuilt or helped a client or a customer recover, and how grateful they were. Don't hesitate to use metaphors when you can use them. If someone says to you, hey, what makes you so different than XYZ restoration company? I think a simple metaphor such as, we are to restoration what Nike is to sports, or the other company is kind of like the horse and buggy, and the horse or the buggy, or the horse whip, and we're kind of like the Porsche. Those are metaphors that you can actually use that help them. It takes the pressure, it takes all of the worry and the fear and the resistance out of the picture. And last but not least, give them referrals whenever you can. I've got one particular marketer that attends 2 or 3 different marketing network groups, and they're always getting leads and referral opportunities. For example, if they hear of somebody that's buying a new house or buying a new car or going into a new business, they'll go to an insurance agent and they'll give that referral to the insurance agent. That's truly giving back. That insurance agent wants the referrals that you can give them, because that insurance agent wants to sell more policies. So give them give those referrals to them. We've got a marketer that calls on hotels and signs up hotels to a pre-disaster plan. And one of the parts on there is, do you have a local go-to plumber? Many of them do not. They just call a plumber out of the yellow pages or off the internet. And so the marketer will say to that hotel manager, is it okay if I mention your name and phone number to a plumber that we work with that we trust? Well, the hotel is going to tell you, sure, that would be great. And the plumber that you refer that lead to is going to love it. You're helping their business. So that's really what it's about. Folks, we've been on here for almost an hour. I want to tell you thank you. I appreciate your listening, your willingness to listen. If you have questions, don't hesitate to call on me or Bill Giannone. Bill is my business partner in the Crest Network, one of the co-founders. And Bill and I will be doing a commercial class in Fort Lauderdale to be announced, the details probably the first of the year. So we welcome you to that. Welcome you to be a part of the Crest library, crestlibrary.com. It's 99 bucks a month, and there's an incredible wealth of information on there. So enough of my commercial. I want to thank you again on behalf of Bill Giannone and myself and everybody else here at the Crest Network. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Doug.
Thank you. Bye-bye.